Touring Car Masters is an old Tirana front row. Like the look of the second row. Glenn Seaton was looking pretty racy late in race one.
And John Bow will be trying to win the start here again. Yesterday that worked out really well for him. I think whoever's first in the first corner is going to take a fair bit of beating because these cars are also close. It's not so easy to pass. So
great moment here for Jason Gomersall as well. And fairly even at the start. And Gomersall in fact got the jump here, but Bow has the better line down to turn one.
He'll try and hang out the outside and get the run up into 3, which he's done.
They're still side by side across the old start-finish line. They kept their formation. This is good stuff. So Adam Garwood hit along the curb in turn number 1 and lucky not to spin his Tirana further back in the field. He's up to 9th place from the 6th row on the grid, but Jason Gomersall will lead us down to turn 5.
Great job by him off the start. He really needed to get to the front, I feel, early and to hang around the outside and outmaneuver John Bow. Not an easy thing to do on any day.
Sven Burkhardt's going a little bit further back in the field here at the moment. He was nudged inside the top 10. He was quickest in practice earlier in the weekend, but haven't really seen the Tirana fire a shot. At the Porsche, I should say, fire a shot.
Hard part for him is when he's caught in this traffic, they're slowing him down around the corners, and so when they get on the straight, they blast by him, but he carries speed into and through the corners, so he needs a bit of a gap to the car in front of him so he can get a gap to the car behind him so no one passes him.
Impressive debut for the Jason Gomersall Matchstone Racing prepared Tirana. So he done 20 laps in the lead into this weekend's event up at Queensland Raceway. And John Bow starts to apply the pressure on that Wilson Security Tirana.
He'll want to get a good result this weekend. He's certainly working the car hard. You see him duck out and get a bit of clear air. I bumped into Brian Boyd, who's one of the sponsors, Pace, on this car, and he's here for the weekend to obviously watch the Volvos and have a look and see how JB's going in this rig.
He was very good here last year on debut in this car. Glenn Seaton in 3rd place and closing in on John Bow. Replay of the start, and Gomersall got the jump here, but on the wrong side here going into turn 1. Bow had to get up on the curb. So Garwood
really, it's a fantastic job giving each other a bit of racing room, but what that did was put JB out on the marbles, and hard to get the power going when you're out there.
It's further back in the field. This is Adam Garwood, ready to pounce. Everybody fanned out. It's not the widest racetrack, Winton, and Garwood wanted to make it 3 wide. Got a couple of cars here, and lucky not to get tangled up.
Wow.
So easy to do. Tough, didn't he?
Very, very lucky not to have contact there.
3 positions made up for the young Tasmanian teenager. Lap 2 at 12, so we're settling down a little bit. There he is, looking for the pass on Mark King down there at turn number 10. We'll jump on board with the Tasmanian.
What's interesting when you watch his feet here, he flat changes that car, so he doesn't use the clutch, he just lifts off the throttle a little bit, and you see him lift off the throttle. That's enough to allow it to drag it in out of the gears. John Bow, great move here on Jason Gomersall, got up the inside. Jason probably got in a little bit too deep, and JB slid straight down to the inside.
And watch Glenn Seaton here too. This has brought him into the 3-car argument. Either way, it's a strong debut for Gomersall, the leader in the Pro-Am class by just 7 points coming into this weekend's round.
Bow's instantly put a bit of a gap in there to Gomersall, so I just wonder if Gomersall, everything's fine with that car, because that was certainly close. See JB jink to the inside there. Just brake a little bit later and get over to the apex. Jason didn't look like he was turning into the apex at all there, so he was certainly giving him a bit of racing room.
Already it's out to nearly a second. It's your leaderboard Bow from Gomersall, Seaton and Johnson. These guys have done plenty of laps this weekend in the Toyota 86 series as well, which is coming up later today. Coming to Jimmy Richards. And this big angry pack there is Sven Burkhardt's behind Cam Tilley. That's 9th and 10th position, and Bruce Williams a little bit further back there in 11th. Seaton's got the elbows up this weekend, hasn't he?
Well, he's certainly doing some miles.
Not that you need him around here, he's done a few.
Yeah, I think he could cut a lap around here with his eyes shut.
That race qualified many years ago, he talked himself through a lap. The onboard camera, I think he got in pole position that year, winding the clock back 15 or so years back. And this is Garwood.
A little bit of contact there when Mark King gives him just enough racing room.
But impressed with young Adam. He's committed sports GT racing down in Tasmania. Saw him make a brief appearance last year and full-time in the championship, and broke through for his first win in Adelaide on the Sunday race this year, the Clipsal 500. The weekend started off pretty badly, and as you know, once it does do, that tends to stay that way.
Absolutely. All these cars nose to tail. We've got a dice here really for 5th place, and usually when you've got 5 or 6 cars all stumbling over one another like this, there tends to be a bit of action eventually. So we'll watch this pretty closely to see what the outcome is.
Someone have to go off the
Mark
curbs.
King a bit wide there.
So we run down to turn number 10. So it's Garwood, Tilley and Burkhart's. 8th, 9th and 10th. So Garwood from the 6th row inside the top 10. So we come through to complete lap number 4. It's Eddie Abelnika. Melbourne's cheapest cars, Falcon Coupe. Ahead of Andy Fisher. We haven't seen much of Andy. He's been in the top 10 all weekend, and now we've got a big challenge. It might go 3 wide here, Brad.
Garwood just got a little bit wide there. He's like not to shoot off the track. Maybe outbraked himself a little bit on the way into the last turn. That allowed Cameron Tilley to slide down the inside.
Garwood should get it done down here nicely. Tilley's going to make it as hard as he can. At the same time, protect the line from Sven Burkhart's in the Porsche.
Well, they both have the same problem. They've got really fast cars around corners, but they just don't have the horsepower to hold the V8 off. But what it's done is it's dropped them back a fair way off Mark King, and it's allowed Bruce Williams to loom at the back of them.
Brucey debuting that car this week in the number 5 Tirana, built by legendary car builder Les Small. He built the original Tirana back in the 70s, the Roadways team.
And he clearly had a bit of paint left over when this one was being assembled, because he's painted it the same colour. But I spoke to Bruce earlier, who's had a bit of trouble with the throttle sticking on this car, which is why he shut off the road yesterday. But they seem to have it all under control. And he did a really good job. He's been very competitive, and he's just on his best lap for the race at the moment. So he'll see these guys. Oh.
Tony Kay, not so okay on the number 21 car there of Greg Garwood, who spun around.
That wasn't quite so pleasantly executed.
It's Adam Garwood.
Who's catching back up to Mark King.
Was he?
He was. That's his moment. He's a little bit loose. I'm not sure whether he had a hand for that or he got the rear wheels out in the muck, but you can hear him getting off the throttle when he's behind the pacer.